welcome to my channel. It is Amanda. Today we're going to talk about my project palette for April, and I know that this is going up late. I had great intentions of getting this up on time, but when I was recording the video and then I went to import it, my camera does this thing where it says it's recording, but then it's just not. I don't know why. I don't know how to fix that. And so that's what it did for this video. And then I had other videos that were more timely that needed to go up. So listen, it's going up late. It's fine. I've been using the palettes since the beginning of April, but you're just not seeing them until now. So let's talk about the palettes that I'm going to be using and have been using in April. And that's what we're going to do today, so just keep watching. Last month for March I did indie palettes, so I did a lot of Nomad Cosmetics, Kaleidos, Alamar Cosmetics, and the Odin's Eye palette. I really enjoyed all of those. I'm not decluttering any of those palettes. I did not suspect that I would, but just so you know, I'm keeping all of them. They're all lovely. For April we have 4 brands to use. I'm trying to keep it at about 10 palettes. I really probably should have added a ColourPop palette or 2 each month because I have a lot of ColourPop palettes. I don't know how we're going to do that, but let's talk about the palettes I'm going to use this month. First we're going to talk about Anastasia, and the first palette that I have is the Master Palette by Mario. And it's so funny how tastes change over the years because I always count this as one of my favorite palettes ever, and I do think that the palette itself is very beautiful. I think the formula is very nice. But looking at this now, I think it's so neutral. It's so simple. I don't know that I will keep this at the end of the month, which is crazy because I do love the palette. But let's not get ahead of myself. I do really enjoy the palette, but I always want something more colorful. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what goes on. The next Anastasia palette is the Sultry palette. This palette was used quite a bit last year for the Pan That Shadow challenge that I was doing. This was one of the palettes that was chosen, particularly this shade, but I did use the other shades. I really do like this palette. This is actually a very nice palette, even though I don't use all of the colors all of the time. My favorite way to use this palette is using Slate, this gray with this bloom color together. I just feel like it makes like a RoboCop eye look or something with the gray and red, and then adding the Cyborg shade. I just really enjoy how that looks. The rest of the colors are very nice. It's still a very neutral palette, but I do like it. I definitely need to challenge myself to use these other beautiful shimmers more often versus just using Bloom and Slate all of the time. And then the last palette from Anastasia is the Riviera palette. Definitely use this palette the least from these 3. I think I bought this at TJ Maxx. But I mean, this is my color story. These brights, there's mattes, there's shimmers. I really think that this is a beautiful palette. It's definitely the least used of the 3, so I feel like I will get the most use out of this just because I want to try to use it more. But that's the next one that we're using, and this is, I think, very appropriate for like the springy season. Even though I'm not afraid to wear neon eyeshadow in December, you know, it's been gray for a while, so I want some brights, and this is giving me those brights. So that is the Riviera palette. Do you guys have any of these palettes? What is your favorite Anastasia palette? Let me know. Next we have Dominique Cosmetics, and I have 2 from the brand. The first is the Berries and Cream palette, which is actually what I'm wearing today, even though it's not berry at all. I used the Toasted shade right here all over my lid, and then this Blueberry Muffin shade in the outer half. And then I added this Sugar Cookie shade, which looks kind of pink in here, but it definitely applies more, a little more silvery, I guess, at least over this blue color. This palette I haven't used a lot either, so I definitely want to kind of focus on using. That's kind of the goal of this, is to focus on using the palettes that I haven't used that often. And this is one of them. So the Berries and Cream palette, I think the berry colors, these bright pink. This blue is quite pigmented. I was a little surprised when I applied my brush to my eyelid. I said, oh, that's not quite what I was expecting, but it blended out, it's fine, it's fine. The next palette is the Latte palette. This was their initial launch release. This was the first thing they ever released. And this palette was also in my project Pan Those Shadows last year. So this cold brew shade I've gotten a lot of use out of, but I really didn't use much from the other shade. And this blue and the other blue are totally different. This is almost like a teal and that is a blue. The mattes are very nice. The shimmers seem really pretty. They're not the most out of this world insane shimmery, but I always foil everything to amp up the shimmer. But I really do like this palette too. I think it's a solid palette. It's not my absolute favorite thing I've ever used just because the color story is pretty neutral. But I guess we do need neutrals sometimes. So. And that is the Latte palette. Have you guys tried Dominique Cosmetics? I really think that their palettes, I think that their products are really beautiful. I'm kind of waiting for them to come out with cheap products. I feel like that's got to be coming soon because they have eyes, they have lips, they have lip liners. I think they have, I don't really know what else they have, but I'm kind of waiting for like cheap products to come out from them. But I do like what I've tried from the brand. I have one, maybe two of their lip glosses and they're very, very nice. The next brand that we have is Pure Cosmetics and I have two from the brand. So we have the Pure Barbie palette. This is the first Barbie palette that they released. Oh, it's called Endless Possibilities and it has this, it looks like, I don't really know what this is supposed to look like, but I think it looks like rocks at the bottom of a fish tank. I'm not really sure what the inspiration for this is. Our neighbor's cat is fixed, so they let her run around. She's a good hunter, and I'm like, listen, get all the moles that you want. But I bought her some treats, and now she won't leave our driveway, so that might not have been a great idea. But this is the, anyway, the packaging is cute, but I just don't like fully understand what this is supposed to look like. But it is cute. It's textured and the shiny with the Barbie. It's cute. So this is what the palette looks like. It comes with a big mirror. Mine is dirty because I don't ever use the mirror. And then this shade, when I think I bought this from, I don't know where I bought it from, but the shade came broken. It's a black shadow. I know that I'm never going to be upset that I don't have a perfect black shadow. I don't really use black shadow ever. I don't even know why I bothered to repress it, to be very honest. Probably because there's shimmer in it. So that's why this is a little bit messy. I've only used this one a few times. This is a pressed glitter right here. But the shades seem like, I don't really know how to describe it. They almost seem like a foil. They look very, what is the word? They look very metallic in the pan, but on your eyelids they look, it looks metallic, but I don't know how to describe it. It's just like very diffused looking, I guess. I haven't used every shade in here. I've used, of course, the blue, and the purple, and the pink, and then this pink. But I do enjoy it. I just need to get more use out of it. So the Pure Endless Possibilities palette is going in the list. And then the other Pure palette is this little, what's the palette called when it has 6 shades? It's not a quint, it's just a palette, I guess, right? 6-pan palette. From the Trolls collaboration, this is called Techno. Oh, Trolls World Tour, it's called Techno. These 3 are mattes, and then these 3 are metallic-y, shimmery looking. These 3 swatch. They feel like butter. I mean, they swatch beautifully. This mixed with this blue when I swatched it, and it makes me so happy. I am pretty excited to use this. I haven't yet. Mine came broken. I bought it at Kohl's, but again, I'm never going to finish an eyeshadow. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It came broken. It's fine. And then the last brand for April will be Too Faced, and I have 3 Too Faced palettes. The first is the Gingerbread Spice palette. Shocking to no one. I've primarily used the pink and this purple and this green. Warm and Toasty was also a project Pan Those Shadows shadow last year, so I did use that one quite a bit. This palette, oh, this Hot Toddy shade is actually beautiful. It's a duochrome, like an, can you see? You can't see. It's like it's an orange to burgundy duochrome. It's really pretty. I think the Too Faced palettes are really pretty and I just kind of forget to use them. I don't have a good reason, I just sort of forget to use them. I definitely haven't used this as much as I should have. Even though I do think that these colors are pretty, there's nothing wrong with the formula. I just need to use them. And if I'm not going to use them, I need to pass them on. And that's what this challenge project is supposed to do. So we're going to use this guy this month. The second one is from the Life's a Festival collection. It's like really gray outside. And I kept the box because the packaging is ridiculous. I did talk about this in my favorite palettes for spring. I actually love this palette. Obviously this half is speaking my language, but the warm side is pretty too. I just love purples, blues. I can't help it. The shade in the middle is a kind of a violet, like an icy violet color. It would be a really pretty inner corner highlight. If you want to wear a purple highlight, it would be a face highlight. It's really pretty. It's called Unicorn Tears. I really enjoyed this palette. Every time I wear it, I think, yeah, I like this. I just wish the packaging were a regular shade. And then the last Too Faced palette is the Chocolate Gold palette. And I know that I've used this, but I have no memory of what I've used other than the green, obviously. That should be my challenge, to use only the neutral shades in these palettes that I... Sounds awful. I'm not doing that. Another fine palette, there's nothing wrong with it. I actually think this gets really highly rated as one of the best Too Faced palettes. I just neglect this one. I have no reason. I just do. So this is the palettes that I will be using in April, or have been using in April. Let me know what your favorite Too Faced palette is. Let me know your favorite Anastasia palette, Pure palette. Let me know these things. If you have any questions, comments, favorite looks, favorite shadows that you like to use in combination with any of these palettes, like any shadow combinations from the palettes, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you in my next video.